Like, are there times where, even though this is my purpose, someone or something has stepped in, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm like off of it.
I personally don't think so. I think your purpose can evolve.
Okay.
You know, if I was, and I think that evolves with age because you grow and mature and gain wisdom. But I don't think it's, like I said, it's not a singular focus. So if my purpose in life is to be a beacon for youth and empower those left behind and because of systematic situations and racism or just dealt with all that bad hands and things like that, I don't think that changes. I don't wake up one morning and say, nope, I don't care about these kids anymore.
But what if someone said, JP, you suck with kids?
That's not going to necessarily change that I want to be a better person for those people. Or my purpose might be, I want a better, I want better race relations between, that's not going to change overnight. Or if my purpose is to make sure that animals around the world are, being taken care of, that doesn't necessarily change because I'm good at it or bad at it or have a negative experience with one animal that bites me. That's probably not going to change because that's my purpose. And again, I say that's only from my standpoint, my vantage point.
That makes sense. I'm just asking because I think that sometimes people, it's for the listeners, right? I think sometimes we throw away even our purpose because of an animal biting us, or because this one youth program that I had went south. So no longer, this must not be my purpose, right? So what would you say to people like that, that aren't as deeply rooted? Because I can know my purpose and not be deeply rooted in it, and be ready to throw it away. Does that make sense?
I think you might know your passion, but once you find your purpose, I don't think that can be really shaken by a lot of things.
Okay.
So again, I give up the sports analogy. Like I had a passion for football. Like that was my favorite sport growing up or whatever. Once I got to a certain standpoint in my career, I realized basketball was going to be it for me. So that became a new passion of mine. I still love football. I still watch it. I still enjoy the game. Still have a ton of friends that play, NFL, college, things of that nature. And I still get that tingle on Saturdays and Friday nights, but that's no longer a dedicated passion for mine. But again, I feel like your purpose has to be more rooted in a bunch of different principles that come to form one common goal.
Okay, so what do you mean by a bunch of different principles? So, because I think this goes back to the original question of the multi-levels, being multifaceted.
For me, a purpose is something that it not only touches you, it also touches a number of different people.
Okay.
Or a number of different societies or what cultures or whatever it is. Your purpose has very little to do with just you. And I feel like if it's just you, is it truly a purpose or is it more of a passion or a self-seeking service?
Yeah. I think you're the first person that has clearly made a distinction between passions and purpose. Like my friend Toyin, she's episode 3, go back and listen to it. We talked about passion and purpose, but we didn't really land anywhere. And I think your explanation is way better than we had, in that your passion can change and that something can sway you from that passion, but with your purpose is this is it.
So for me, my passion is like a flame, a fire, a burning fire. The more you feed that fire, obviously it burns and gets brighter and bigger.
Yeah.
But if you suffocate that fire, then obviously the fire extinguishes. So if you have those bad experiences, that can lead to that passion being extinguished. Whereas your purpose, if you think of that as a foundation of a building, it's not going to be many things that shake the foundation of that building. You might have a fire in the entire, you might burn it down to the ground. At the end of the day, that foundation is still going to be there. And you might have to rebuild different things on top of that foundation, but your general principles of your foundation are there. That's why I think a lot of, it's interesting when I talk to a lot of people in their mid 25s to 35s that are kind of down or you haven't given yourself enough time to grow. I think social media has kind of put this idea in our head that we should be these complete beings at a certain level, or we should be here in our thinking and reasoning. Your different experiences are going to shape that. And I've seen it from both sides because as a guy that's played professional sports, I've done a lot of things that a lot of 30-year-olds, 29, 30-year-olds have not done. I've been to 23 different countries. I've taken the vacations that a lot of people are putting on their bucket list. I've done a lot of things that people want to do in their 30s and for like, so I'm a little further along in my development. I've also had the luxury of having a job that's very busy, but you also have a lot of time to think and contemplate. Whereas if you're working a 9 to 5, that's a large amount of your time sitting somewhere. Whereas for me, I might have practice at 6. I come back home. I have those 3, 4, 5 hours in the house where I can actually read 4 or 5 more books or just have thinking time. Or, we're on a 3-hour flight. I have enough time to kind of just be in my thoughts. So I think my processes along the way have been a little more developed, but I also have friends that have worked the 9 to 5 that are now trying to find themselves outside of that 9 to 5 and find their purpose. And they're a lot of times confusing their passion with their purpose. Well, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, well, it's okay to change that. So it's very interesting seeing my friend group. I have a diverse set of friends, older, younger, some athletes, non-athletes, from different backgrounds, from different demographics, from different countries, from different cultures. So to see how everyone kind of mixes and matches and how they're figuring out their process and how I'm figuring out my process has been very fun. Yeah, it's been a fun journey.
I've been thinking, how do the lost get found when they don't know where to go? And I've been shaking. Not many more twists and turns before I find the road. And I've been hoping for sunrise.